The next one is, Paul touched on this very briefly here. It's about being organized. And you mentioned organize about supplies.
Yeah.
There's organization in a lot of different ways, and we'll go through some of these here over the next few minutes.
Yeah. So, and we have some of these coming up on the next slides too.
Yes.
But being consistent is around the timesheets. And one of the things that you don't want to get into is, somebody that worked 15 hours that week, but it was only, but the documentation only showed 10, and you pay them 10 hours. All of a sudden, there's this trust issue that, especially at the beginning of the relationship. Things happen, by the way, between your communication with your accountants or whatever. Things happen sometimes. But at the very beginning, this is where you're just starting to trust one another. Mm-hmm. And be consistent, have a timesheet that's available for them. You may want to observe them doing the timesheets for a while to make sure you're both on the same page. What is your policy in regards to someone working, 9 a.m. to 11:15? Are you calling that 9 to 11, or are you calling that 9 to 11:30, or 9 to 11:15? Right. Be clear about that, and let's deal with it as we talk about the timesheets, right? And how we're best going to move forward. We're going to show some examples of timesheets and stuff in a minute. And needing to be always available. Are we talking in regards to?
It's like that was the one, have what you need always available. It's
supplies,
whatever you
right,
mentioned supplies, because it's one of the things that is that you as the employer, you're responsible to have these things, even though you're using your staff to purchase them for you, but you have to be organized in that sense, right? Because if you're asking someone to do cleaning, you don't have cleaning supplies.
Exactly. So you've got to be organized, and have this stuff available, and if you need your catheter to be changed and all that kind of stuff, you got to make sure you have them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can't do it.
Exactly.
Where it can also cause you time problems, right?
Yes.
If they need to stop and go to the store and get it, then that's going to cause them to have to stay longer. Perhaps are they available to stay longer? That creates a lot of issues. So you need to be on top of this kind of stuff. And again, checklists and things like that are ways to go.
Right.
Being clear with your employee about letting me know when I'm getting down to only a few gloves left.
Exactly.
Or maybe you always keep 3 boxes and now you're down to 1. You better, have a process to let them know, to tell you. It is frustrating when they don't, let me tell you, but keep on telling them that that's what you need to have done.
That's also part of, that is part about being organized, is that, it's not just having things ready, it's about, mentally being organized also, because you have to keep up with these sort of things. So you can't just let them trying to run on their own. It doesn't work like that. You have to be on top of it all.
At the end of the day, they're your hands, right? And they're kind of following what you want them to do, right? And they're helping you do things that you cannot physically. Really, ultimately, that's what you're doing here. So, so you're the brains behind stuff, right? And you need to make it happen, so that it makes that relationship go smoother.
We've spoken, about being organized in a couple of different ways. The other one is, keeping your home organized. You don't want to be, the bottom point there is using your staff, because you are talking about cleaning and keeping things nice and neat and orderly. So it's a pleasant place to come in to work, because it is a work environment also.
And you create your standard,
yes,
Fernando. If you want your place to be organized and kept clean, you need to be clear with your staff person about what you mean by that. Is it okay to leave, garbage bags on, in the middle of the room? Is it okay, right? If you don't tell them, they're liable to leave it there again next time, right? Yeah. So, you need to be clear about what is a clean home for you and your standard of cleanliness. And again, when you're looking for the right staff person, find the person that's going to be able to do that for you, right? Because, I was just saying to Fernando, you're looking to hire, you're hiring someone to help you meet your needs.
Yes.
You're not hiring them to meet their needs. At the same time, you want to be mutual beneficial and use all the, components in regards to making sure that you have a good relationship. But at the end of the day, the staff person that's been hired is there to help meet your needs. And the clean home, if that's a priority for you, should be sure that they're doing that.
The last point there, we're standardizing some of your teams. You've actually spoken about some of it already.
Yeah, and I think we probably give a little more examples around that as well. But and that standardizing the routines, is keeping things consistent and making sure so it's easy for them to know that it's supposed to be next or what's supposed to get done.
Well,
and checklists and stuff. We're going to show you that in a moment.
But one of the pitfalls that some people try to find themselves in is that they try to standardize everything, and that's not really possible.
No,
you have to allow for some flexibility and things, right? Talk about the ish factor. Not everything always operates in a specific time frame, right? So
no, and you've got to be flexible for sure, Fernando. We have to be flexible. Things come up for you, kind of thing as well. So
yes,
you have to allow for that.
Accidents happen.
Yes, absolutely. But make sure you meet your needs. If you have somebody in for just a 2-hour shift, and you know that eating is a priority, because you're not going to have someone in again for another 3 or 4 hours. Well, you may have to give up something else to be able to eat.
Yes,
I think that's a good example, really, because I think that you're in charge of what's most important for you. And if an accident happened and you had to divert, to clean up the accident, that kind of stuff, now you're not going to be able to necessarily do all the other things you wanted to do, unless you've got a little bit of extra surplus funding, or that person has that extra time to do that for you.
Yes.
So you're going to have to be able to be flexible to move things around.
A good point about the surplus, because these are sort of things that you can have to help you out with some of these, right?
Absolutely, because accidents happen, right? And you have to try and deal with it. But you just have to recognize that, sometimes the funding won't be there. You won't have the surplus. Or the employee themselves just aren't able to stay beyond the 3 hours that you scheduled them for.
Because they've already committed to other things too.
But you are responsible for your own supports. And so at the end of the day, you coming up with your decision about what's going to be the rest of your priority, because now you've lost 45 minutes, right? So now I have to readjust and let the staff person know what the new priorities are going to be for the last hour.